First of all, thank you so much for loving Pep Talk India's channel. So I thought to give you a bonus for that. And the bonus is the difference between speech and presentation. Most of the trainers, most of the website, YouTube channels don't tell you the exact difference between speech and presentation. Guess what? You're thinking right now that is there any difference? Yes, there is. Though yes, most of the people use it interchangeably, speech presentation, but there is a huge difference in the purpose as well as in the presentation approach. Well, when I say presentation approach, don't get mistaken that I'm talking about presentation. I'm talking about individual way of presenting. And let me show you how it goes. Presentation in the office, yeah, you remember that look? Holy cow, what was that? For half an hour, you almost sucked my blood. That's what is the feeling most of people get who attend the presentation. But you know what? Presentation is not supposed to be like that. The job of presentation to have two-way communication, which doesn't happen because of, again, the difference, speech and presentation, what it has. People don't tell you. I'm going to tell you in next 1 minute. So stay tuned. Well, as I mentioned, speech and presentation both are two different entities, and speech and presentation both have two different purposes. So speech has a purpose to woo the people. As politician, yeah, that's what their job is, to tell you goody words, and you get so engrossed, you get awe-inspired at the beginning and you vote, and after that what happens? You know the reality. Well, I'm talking about the purpose of the speech and presentation. Presentation is pragmatic in nature, where you have to give the result. In speech, your job is to awe-inspire the people. You know the difference between speech and presentation now, and for that you can thank me later, or probably you can thank me in the comment section below. Well, when you know the difference, it's time to know that one element what I'm here to discuss with you to make your speech and presentation stand out. Well, yeah, stand out. I'm not saying standing out. Well, yes, so in speech you have less time to impress the people. I'm not saying you have less time to speak, but I'm saying you have less time to impress the people because it is one-way talk. It is not a two-way conversation with the people. As I stated at the beginning, that speech and presentation both have different purpose. Whereas in presentation, you have time to have two-way talk with your audience, whether it is professional, in a formal setting or informal setting, or whatever the purpose you're going to serve in the presentation. You always have time to impress the people later on as well, in the mid, by cracking some jokes, by bringing some funny elements, or probably by stating something which can be related with everyone sitting there in the room. But in speech, well, if you want to awe-inspire the people, always think of that one factor, the one showmanship. If you don't develop that, well, you can develop the showmanship by joining the course at Pep Talk India's premises. The course is Pep Talk Skills. For more, I guess you can also visit our website, peptalkindia.com. Well, there are people who are already fine in their career. It's just that they don't have that spark, that showmanship, which we develop here over time, which means we devote almost 15 to 20 hours to develop showmanship of individuals. So even if you're oblivious, let me summarize it for you. The first thing what we talked about today, the difference between speech and presentation. Speech is more or less one-way talk. Presentation can be two-way talk. If you have confidence to talk with your audience, don't talk them off. Second thing what we talked about, the one element of speech, that's showmanship, and as I referred, you can know more about showmanship in the course detail what we're going to share at the end. And the last thing what we talked about, the presentation. In presentation, make sure you don't bore people to death, as it is two-way communication. Ask few of the question, use slides to entertain them, use few of the jokes or try something really interesting in the mid so that people don't sleep. In God's sake, stop looking at the slides. They are for the audience, they are not for the speaker. Well, see you next time.